Bring us through the different types of ice packs that you have. I see 4 different types here. Why would somebody use this one versus that versus the others?
I'd love to get into our ice packs. This isn't all of our lines. This is just some of our most popular. So all of these cold packs are reusable. This is our Ice Bricks line. It is the only leak-proof cold pack on the market. If you were to take a pen and puncture it, you see that? The gel doesn't leak out. See, the poly's so thick it's hard to even puncture.
So you're not going to have spillage, there's no contamination, no mess or anything like that. So I could see why that would be one of the more popular ones.
Yeah. So this one is really popular. Like James said, anybody that's worried about cross-contamination, first of all, you already saw how thick the poly was. It's going to take a lot for that to leak out.
And you have a variety of sizes of that too. So not just this little tiny one. We get into, what's the biggest that you get into for that style?
For this line, we have everything from a 3-ounce cold pack, which you're going to be using for any of your lab mailers. I see them used mostly with like blood samples, tiny little samples that need to stay cold but can't freeze. You'll usually see a little 3-ounce ice pack in it. 3-ounce ice pack in this line all the way up to 64 ounce. So this is our ice brick line. Our largest size would be our BLK 80. It's an 80-ounce cold pack. So that is an option as well. So this is our ice brick, like I mentioned. So companies that would use it, again, this goes with your pharmaceutical companies, anyone shipping GLP-1 medication, your customers that are shipping anything they need a lab to send out to test that needs to stay cold, and then the lab needs to send it back to them. That's what they're using these cold packs for. Nice, thick, durable poly and that leak-proof gel that won't leak out. So that's our Ice Bricks line. Then we have our Moisture Safe cold pack. It also has a thick, durable poly, and it has a secondary poly that's kind of fuzzy to the touch. And this second microfiber poly, it reduces the condensation on the cold packs so that if you're using fancy boxes, you're going to see a reduction in condensation. Customers that use these, anyone that's using fancy boxes. Right now, a lot of companies are using fancy boxes. They like their fancy promotional boxes. So we would ship it with this. Anyone calling in that says that they're shipping candy, chocolates, it's first thing I say, oh, you're going to need the Moisture Safe. And then also at-home lab test kits, because they have all of those labels and barcodes and QR codes on them that the customers need to scan. If those get wet and soggy from a cheap cold pack, it's not going to work. Your customer's going to need to resend that out, and an extra charge for your customer, maybe a bad review most likely. Our customers feel that these stay colder longer. I would say it's because that secondary microfiber poly, they don't feel as cold to the touch because of it, but they stay more solid, frozen longer.
Now I have all of these in my freezer at home, and they're also great for your coolers when you go out to a picnic or to the beach or anything like that.
The refreeze Arctics, it is our foam refrigerant. It is a solid foam brick on the inside, and it has also a thick, durable poly, even thicker than the Ice Bricks one, and we saw how that pen barely go through. Customers that use these are going to be your lab customers. I see them in those at-home tests that they're sending. I see them being used shipping samples of cheese, any of those GL1P medication customers. These hold their temperature 10% longer than the regular cold packs. So if you need anything to last longer, I always go with the refreezer bricks first. They're a great option.
So that would be a good one for your thicker insulated boxes.
Definitely a thicker insulated box. They can use it with any of them. If they're shipping overnight, they don't need a refreezer bricks. Another thing about the refreezer brick is they maintain their shape. So a lot of times when you're packing something, some of these might freeze a little weird depending on how you're sticking them in your freezer. A lot of customers have issues with that because it might ruin the footprint of their box. And so our customers find that they prefer the RBs because they keep a nice uniform shape so that you know it's always going to fit. Whereas if one froze like that and you only accounted for an inch of space, but we've got a good 1.5 inches down there, it's going to skew your whole pack out. So if you need something that's a nice uniform shape throughout packaging, you're going to want the refreezer brick.
And then you have your biodegradable one.
So we also have a biodegradable cold pack. It's also made with a thick, durable poly. The difference is that there's an additive to the poly so that the poly will eventually break down and biodegrade. They'll do it if you leave it outside for 3, 6 months, depends on, you know, the conditions of the weather. The customers that are going to be using these are anyone that are concerned with being green or eco-friendly. They're going to want the biodegradable cold pack.